There are many different types of tent, but we'll show you how to put this one up, the 6-men ridge tent. The tent itself is underneath, and the poles are pushed through the grommets and capped with the dollies. This is the ridge pole, and it's supported at either end by the 2 uprights. A ground sheet provides protection from dampness, and the sod cloth stops draft from coming under the base of the tent. There are wooden pegs and metal ones. Each has its own type of mallet. We'll use the metal pegs in the 3 sizes, large, medium and brailing. So let's get underway. With the tent bags opened, first organize the poles. Join them together, the ridge pole and then the 2 uprights. Just remember, it's the upright poles that have spikes. While the poles are being assembled, another 2 of the team should count the pegs and the mallets. Choose a suitable patch of ground for the tent, one with firm soil that is away from trees and is free from stones and pieces of glass. Place the ridgepole as you want the tent to lie, and put a brailing peg vertically at either end of the pole. Then measure and mark the site. This is to prepare for the positioning of the main guy lines. Take 3 broad steps, turn right and take 3 more. A large peg is placed at a 45-degree angle to the ground and the ridge pole. The pegs are spaced on either side of the ridge pole at an equal distance. Repeat this measuring, and once the front is done, do the back. Now we're ready for the tent itself. 2 of you should first unfold it, checking as you go. Make sure that the base of the tent is placed at the ridge pole and not the other way round. So change it at this early stage. Get your teammates to help you open out the tent, stretch it properly for the ridge pole. Place the upright poles, the ones with the spikes, through the ridge pole and carefully guide it through the grommets provided in the tent and the fly. Do this on both sides. Now the tent is ready to be raised. The team works together to get this task done. The main guy line and the dolly are put on the spikes and pulled taut at both ends of the tent. Then the base of the upright is held against the brailing peg, ready for lifting, and in a concerted effort, the whole assembly is hauled to its upright position. Now you should secure the main guy lines so that it can be freestanding. Get your team organized, 1 guy to each guy line and 1 to hold the upright. Find the pegs and just tighten up the guy lines again while keeping an eye out for your other teammates. Next, the doors. Fasten them together using the holes provided. Do both doors and finally secure them to the brailing peg. Now the tent is ready to be stretched out and pegged. This is known as squaring the corners with the brailing pegs. For the corner guy lines, 2 guides hammer in the large pegs while the other tightens the ropes. The correct angle for the peg is 45 degrees. It must be put in the right place, and you can check this by looking for an imaginary diagonal line to the center of the ridge pole. By placing the pegs in this way, the 4 corner guy lines create an equal tension from all sides, and this holds the tent up. When you have finished with the corner guy lines, peg in the side guy lines with the medium pegs. You can make sure that they are all in a line by using twine. It's important, otherwise the tent will not sit properly. Now for the fly. Again, check the line with a length of twine. Make sure that the medium-sized pegs of the fly are well outside the line of the tent pegs. Then the fly will be lifted clear of the tent, and this will protect the tent from the heat and the rain. The guy line should follow the seams, and the runner should be about 1/3 of the way from the pegs when you finish tightening the lines. Finally, use the brailing pegs to secure the brailing cords at the base of the tent. Drive them in vertically to their full length. Now the whole assembly of the tent and the fly sheet should be taut, with no creases or folds. All that remains is to secure the final guy line at each end, and the tent is up. Open the doors using the cords provided, and every morning, or when the sodcloth is wet, hook it to the tent walls. You can roll up the doors and walls once they are dry. This also lets air into the tent. Be sure that you never leave anything touching the insides of the tent. If it rains, then water will leak through at the contact points. Every tent needs care and attention. On a windy day, guy lines tend to loosen and need tightening. If it rains, the tent is strained and the guy lines shrink, so loosen them. It's a good idea to loosen guy lines before going to bed at night, because the morning dew makes them wet. But in the morning, remember to tighten them when the sun comes out. There are many different types of tents, like the dome tent and the frame tent, and they all have their own ways of being put up. It's time to strike the tent, so just reverse the order of pitching it. Before you take it down, make sure it's crispy hot, as any dampness will cause the canvas to mildew. Push the runners to the top and use the double overhand knot to tie the guy lines. Remember to stack the pegs in a cob house. If they're dirty, clean them off and leave them to dry in the sun. And don't forget they'll need counting. Once the fly is completed, go on to the tent. When you want to lower it, 2 guides should hold the uprights while the other 4 remove the main guy lines. Then, with a coordinated effort, gently lower it. Be sure to beat down the holes to prevent water collecting and insects breeding. Remove the dollies, ridges, uprights and remaining pegs. When you've dismantled the poles, tie the parts together using an S-knot. Use any leftover string to make the binding stronger and place the poles in the bag. Then fold the tent and the fly after cleaning them, being careful to remove the last leaves and any traces of dirt. Fold by first halving and then into thirds. Now fold it the other way and squeeze out any excess air. Put back the main guy lines and dollies. Press and roll them again into the tent bag. Count the pegs and keep them ready for next time. By following these simple steps, you'll ensure that those who use the tent after you will enjoy their camping too. So practice these essential skills. They're the key to camping and enjoying your time outdoors. Happy camping!